Hi everyone, this is Padmavani from ECE department. Hope everyone is fine and safe. The department of ECE is planning to conduct online classes due to COVID. Through these videos, I am going to cover Unit 6, that is Introduction to Low Power VLSI Design. So in this unit, we have Introduction to Deep Submicron Digital IC Design, Low Power CMOS Logic Circuit, Design, Power Grid and Clock Design. So in this video, I am going to cover Introduction to Deep Submicron Digital IC Design and overview of power consumption topic. So first topic is Introduction to Deep Submicron Digital IC Design. In the year 1947 and 48, three researchers at Bell Laboratories, Breton, Bardeen and Shockley, introduced the transistor. In the year 1960, first integrated circuit was invented by Jock Kilby. The IC technology came into existence between 1970s to 1990 with the channel length that is 10 micrometers. Using this technology, a designer can integrate 10 to hundreds of logic gates on one single chip. And this technology is known as the LSI. LSI means large scale integration. Around 1980, the capacity of the chip rose to 1 million transistors. This leads to the revolution in the world of microelectronics. So this integration technology was referred as VLSI technology. We know that VLSI means very large scale integration. In the year 1980, the channel length has scaled from 10 micrometer to 5 micrometer to 1 micrometer. Later, by mid 1990s, the advancement in technology leads to more scaling of channel length, that is below 1 micrometer technology. So the integrated circuits which are designed below the channel length, that is below the channel length means below 1 micrometer technology, is known as the submicron technologies. So submicron digital integrated circuits are designed with the channel length, that is 0.8 micrometer, 0.6 micrometer and 0.5 micrometers are said to be submicron digital integrated circuits. Next, further scaling continued from 0.5 micrometers to 0.5 micrometer, 0.18 micrometer, 0.15 micrometer to 0.13 micrometer, and this is referred as deep submicron technology. The above submicrons have some disadvantages like metal interconnections, some delays, RC delays. We know that RC delays are nothing but resistors and capacitors delays. Next, variations in delays, degradation of metal reliability due to high currents passes. Despite of these drawbacks, still scaling is continued and the channel length is decreased from micrometer to nanometers. And this technology is known as the VDSM or UDSM. VDSM means very deep submicron technology, or UDSM means ultra deep submicron technology. So the devices which are designed with the channel length 0.32 nanometer, 0.23 nanometers comes under VDSM technology. So this is about the first topic, that is introduction to submicron technologies. Next, coming to the second one, that is power dissipation. So we know that in the electronic circuit, the first components, electronic components are vacuum tubes. The vacuum tubes are operated with very high voltage, and the power dissipated from the vacuum tubes are in the order of watts. Now, in place of vacuum tubes, transistors were used. The amount of power dissipated by the transistors are in the order of milliwatts. Nowadays, the designers mainly focused on performance and miniaturization of the electronic components. So, this leads to pocket calculators, pacemakers, hearing aids, portable military equipment, all these. So, all these equipments are battery operated devices. So, in such cases, it is very important to prolong or increase the life of the battery. So, low power circuit design concepts are useful to increase the life of the battery. So, in the continuous development of microelectronics technology, power dissipation has one of the important critical factor. So, here we have two types of powers. One is average power and another one is the peak power. So, peak power mainly affects the reliability of the system, and average power mainly affects the cooling and packaging cost of the system. So, here mainly we are focusing on low power due to achieve the portability and reliability of the system. Next, coming to low power. Here, to achieve the low power, first we must focus on power dissipation in the year 1971 to 2000. So, in the year 1971, the first microprocessor chip was developed. That is Intel 4004 processor. The amount of power dissipated in the processor is in the order of watts. Why? Because less number of components are present in the processor, because it is a 4-bit processor. Nowadays, we are using the processor which is used to perform the million instructions per second. So, therefore, the processor which is designed in the processing unit is having more and more components. More and more components we are using means amount of power dissipation is also increasing. So, what are the parameters which causes to increase the power dissipation in the circuits? We must know. So, here if you know the contribution of the power, then we can minimize the power dissipation in the circuit. Therefore, we can prolong the life of the battery. So, coming to the overview of power dissipation. So, the power dissipation in CMOS, we know that what is CMOS? CMOS is nothing but complementary metal oxide semiconductor. So, what are the parameters which causes the power dissipation means? Two parameters. One is dynamic power dissipation and second one is the static power dissipation. In dynamic power dissipation, again we have three subparts: switch power dissipation, short circuit power dissipation, glitch power dissipation. So these power dissipations comes under the dynamic power dissipation. Next, coming to the static power dissipation, leakage power dissipation is coming under the static power dissipation. Here, first one is we must know what is dynamic power dissipation. So, dynamic power dissipation is nothing but the amount of power dissipated in the circuit when the circuit is in operation mode or in active mode. Coming to the static power dissipation, This is the amount of power dissipated in the circuit when the circuit is in inactive mode. So this is the power dissipated in the circuit when it is in active mode, and this is the power dissipated in the circuit when it is in inactive mode. So dynamic means circuit is in active mode, amount of power dissipated. Static means amount of power dissipated in the circuit when circuit is in inactive mode. So we must know the difference between dynamic and static. So first one is dynamic power dissipation. In dynamic power dissipation we have switching power dissipation. So first one is the power dissipated in the circuit when the circuit is in charging and discharging of load capacitance. Power is dissipated in the circuit when it is charging the load capacitance and discharging the load capacitance. Here first consider one inverter. We know that inverter is having two transistors. One is pull up, that is PMOS transistor, and another one is the pull down transistor. So first one is when input is 0. Input is 0. So input 0 means which transistor is on? PMOS transistor is on. And NMOS transistor is said to be off. That is pull down transistor. Here PMOS transistor is on. Therefore, it charges the load capacitance which is connected at the output node through pull up network. Okay. So here first we need to calculate what is the energy supplied by the circuit and how much amount of energy is stored in the capacitor. What is the energy dissipated in the pull-up network? So here first one is input is 0, pull-up network is on, that is used to charge your load capacitance. Okay. So here first to calculate the energy drawn by the supply, we are using this expression. Already we derived this one. So energy, switching energy is nothing but integration of the power over a time period. So here power is nothing but, so we are taking the main power. What is the main power we are applying to the circuit? That is VDD minus V. Okay. So after solving this, finally we'll get the expression. This is C into VDD square minus 1 by 2 C into VDD square. We know that the energy stored in the capacitor is half CV square, and energy supplied from the power supply, energy supplied in the circuit is, that is CV square. So CV square is the total energy. Half of the energy is stored in the capacitor means we can estimate the energy dissipated in the pull-up network, that is half CV square. So this is the energy dissipated in the pull-up network when it is switching from 0 to 1. Why I am saying 0 to 1 switching means, so first at the input side we are having 0 and I am changing the state from 1 to 0. So 1 to 0 means what is the input we are applying here? 0. So if input is 0 means your pull-up network is on. Okay. Once again you recollect it. Input is changing from 1 to 0. At the same time your output is also changing from 0 to 1. Okay. So changing the values from 1 to 0 or 0 to 1 operation is known as a switching. So here switching operation is performed at the output side, that is changing the value from 0 to 1, and some amount of power is dissipated in the circuit, and that power is known as the switch power dissipation. Okay. Next. what is the second power dissipation taken place in the dynamic power dissipation? What is the second type of power present in the dynamic power dissipation is short circuit power dissipation. Short circuit is nothing but when the input is changing from 0 to 1, at one particular point, the two transistors present in the inverter circuit are on. Two transistors are on. Therefore, the short circuit path is existed from VDD to ground. So, whenever the short circuit path is existed from VDD to ground, some amount of power is dissipated in the circuit. That power is known as the short circuit power dissipation. So remember everyone, what is meant by switching? Switching is nothing but when output is changing from 0 to 1. That process is known as the switching process. When output is changing from 0 to 1, some amount of power is dissipated in the circuit, that is known as a switch power dissipation. Here short circuit means when input is changing from 0 to 1. So at one particular point, so at this point, if you observe here, at this point, maximum current is, if you observe the current plot here, the maximum current is flowing in the circuit. So some amount of power dissipated from VDD to ground. That power is known as a short circuit power dissipation. Next. Here if you observe the plot drawn between the voltage and current with the help of the current flowing paths. So when input is changing, so input is the practically it is not possible to change the value instantaneously. That means suddenly it is not possible to change the value from 0 to 1. It takes some amount of time to change its value from 0 to 1. Okay. So at particular point, we know that both the transistors are on. Both the transistors are on. How both the transistors are on means both the transistors satisfies the threshold voltage point and both the transistors are said to be on. Maximum current is flowing in the transistor. Maximum current is flowing in the transistors from VDD to ground. So during that period, what is the amount of power dissipated in the circuit? That is known as the short circuit power dissipation. Okay. Next, coming to the third one. Third one is known as the glitch power dissipation. Glitch power dissipation. So glitch power dissipation is also dynamic power dissipation. So here up to now we discussed about two topics. One is short circuit and another one is the switch power dissipation. Both are dynamic power dissipations. Glitch power also dynamic power dissipation. Okay. Glitches occurs in a CMOS circuit because of finite delay time of gates. So here if you observe this circuit, here at this stage the two NAND gates are giving the output at the same time. Here if you observe the third one here at this point, here the input 1 we are directly applying, the second input to the gate we are obtaining it after some finite delay. Therefore, some amount of power is dissipated in the circuit. So whenever the outputs are switching from 0 to 1 or 1 to 0 for a brief duration, here we have some duration, brief duration. So in this duration, some power dissipated in the circuit which is known as a glitch power dissipation. Okay. Next. Here what are the how we are going to reduce as the glitch power dissipations. So is there any method which is used to reduce the glitch power dissipation? Means yes, we have two methods to realize the logic circuits. One is we can realize the logic circuits in cascaded form, and another one is we can realize the circuits in balanced form. So if you realize the circuit, same logic expressions, by these two circuits are used to implement the same logic expression. But instead of using the cascade form, if you use the balanced form, we can reduce as the glitch power dissipation in CMOS digital circuits. Okay, so this is about the glitch power dissipation. Till now we discussed about the dynamic power dissipations. Once again, the summary: dynamic power dissipation means switch power dissipations, short circuit power dissipation, glitch power dissipation. Switching power dissipation is nothing but when the output switches from one value to another value. That means it may be 0 to 1 or it may be 1 to, it may be from 1 to 0. Some amount of, during that period, some amount of power is dissipated. That is known as the switching power dissipation. So when input changes its value slowly, so if the transition happened suddenly means we cannot observe the short circuit power dissipation. When input changes slowly, some amount of power is dissipated in the circuit. Okay, so that is known as the short circuit power dissipation. Coming to the glitch power dissipation. So glitch power dissipation is nothing but, here glitch powers are whenever the output switches from 0 to 1 or from 1 to 0. For brief duration, the power dissipated in the circuits are known as the glitch power dissipation. Okay. So with this, I am concluding the dynamic power dissipation. So here, if you observe the source of power dissipation. So what are the three sources means? One is switching, total power dissipation of a MOS circuit. One is switching power, second one is short circuit, and third one is the leakage power dissipation. So what is meant by leakage power and what is meant by static power dissipation? So here we have expressions for switching, short circuit and leakage power. Already I explained about switching power dissipation. So if you observe mathematically, the power dissipation is depending on capacitance, voltage, frequency and alpha. Alpha is nothing but switching factor. Switching factor means how it switches, how many times it switches. Depending on that, your switching power dissipation is circuit present. Okay. So if you want to reduce the power dissipation in the circuit, we must reduce the alpha value. If you want to reduce the power dissipation, we must scale down the supply voltage. If you reduce the load capacitance, we can reduce the power dissipation, switching power dissipation. So switching power dissipation is depending on all these parameters. Okay. Next, coming to the short circuit power dissipation. Short circuit power dissipation is nothing but I short circuit current. It depends on current and voltage. Current is nothing but short circuit current and voltage. Okay. Next, this is about the dynamic power dissipation. Next, coming to the static power dissipation. So this is the last topic which we are going to discuss. Static power dissipation is nothing but the static power is defined as the power consumed due to constant current from VDD to ground in the absence of switching activity. Already I told you that dynamic power means amount of power dissipated in the circuit when the circuit is said to be in active mode. So static power dissipation is nothing but when the circuit is inactive, some amount of power dissipated in the circuit. Okay. So we know that here if you observe this diagram, we have several leakage currents in the static power dissipation. That means static power dissipation is caused due to these leakage currents. One is PN junction, first one is PN junction. If you observe the MOS transistor fabrication, everywhere we can observe the P and N combinations. If you observe, I think mm, this is the P well. Here we have P well. In P well we have N substrates. So this is the NMOS configuration, NMOS transistor fabrication. So in NMOS transistors are fabricated in P well. We know that. So here if you observe, this is P well, this is P, and this one is the N. So here we have PN junction. So here when the circuit is in off mode, some reverse bias current is flowing in the MOS circuit. PN junction reverse bias. So that leads to cause the static power dissipation. Similarly, we have several parameters, and second one is the subthreshold or weak inversion leakage. This is also when the current passing in the circuit when it is in off state. Okay. Next we have DABL. DABL means dual drain induced barrier lower effect, and next one is gate induced drain leakage. Next punch through. Next narrow width effect. Next gate oxide tunneling, hot carrier junctions. All these currents gives the static power dissipation. Okay. So in this video I covered two topics. One is deep submicron technologies, and second one is the overview of power dissipation. In overview we have dynamic. Again in dynamic we have switching, short circuit, glitch power dissipation, and finally static power dissipation. Okay. I hope you have learned something new in this session. Thank you one and all. Have a nice day. Thank you.